Right pushing now.
Be careful pushing behind pedal. 1 second.
Yeah, my car is broken though.
Oh, so he says he's touched the wall, Charles Leclerc, and
there, entry to turn 4. Ooh. I said before, you got to get close to the wall. That's a bit too close.
It's broke the. You can see the steering arm.
It's a bit like, you remember his crash in Monaco last year?
Look at that, property that. Bosh.
Yeah, you can
there
see.
We go.
Where he just glanced the Armco on the front right. There is Nicholas Latifi, and he has gone a long, long way into the barriers. Taking the corner at about 106 miles an hour. Ooh. Took his hands off the steering wheel, and I'm not surprised either.
I crashed, guys.
Okay,
Sorry.
you okay? You okay, Nicky?
Yeah, I don't know how the rear just let go there.
Yeah, I'm confident.
Oh, Otmar! We'll just leave it there as Mick Schumacher hits the wall. 2 tyres coming loose as he hit the wall as well, and that is the second red flag of this session.
I mean, this is the first look, and it's just, yeah, there you go, on the curbs.
Curbs, yeah. Yeah, just on the curbs and lost it.
I mean, you can see there's a lot of front end in the car, but I mean that's gonna he's gonna be a sore boy for a few days.
And we've got a yellow flag because we've got a Williams into the barriers. And for the second day running, that Williams is Nicholas Latifi. And this could change dramatically, not just his race, but everyone's race, because that's going to be a safety car.
Oh, that is so unlucky. He's got on the power a bit early, hasn't he? And had oversteer. It's the first time I've seen a car struggle with oversteer on an exit like that.
A slow-moving Williams of Alex Albon. He's been in a collision with Lance Stroll. That's why he's now pulling over to the side of the track, and we can see it going into turn 1. Stroll turns in.
Yeah, idiot just dive-bombed me.
Well, that's going to be costly for both drivers and both teams.
Not able to get the front lock. Ooh,
That's Sebastian Vettel.
Oh.
Now, Sebastian Vettel, who has had barely any running this season, and he's now brought out a red flag. This is a street circuit, and it bites you if you get it wrong.
Exactly. It might not look like a traditional street circuit with grass on either side. As we see here, the fastest part of the track, you get it wrong, and it bites very hard. Sorry, guys.
Oh dear, oh dear.
We have of late.
That is the other Aston Martin. So one is waiting to go back to the garage after a big crash. This is the other in the gravel trap just out of turn 11. Lance Stroll, and another red flag.
And then all the mechanics from Aston Martin came out to see the replay. They just can't believe it, Crofty. They can't believe that it's now both cars crashing at the time when you really, really don't want it to happen. And that's... Sorry, Crofty, come in.
I was just about to say, we've just seen a replay of it, Ted. But sadly, they're going to run out of time, and there, once again, the Williams of Nicholas Latifi, and the red flag comes out. Latifi has hit the barriers, and this time it's spun him round and round and round.
Is there contact with another car there?
Potentially. There were certainly other cars around him.
I wonder if he made contact with the Aston.
Well, Lance Stroll, now he has, look on the right-hand side. Look at his front right there.
So Latifi's appeared from, he's been off the track, I think, at turn 3.
So
and then,
Lance Stroll, well, Lance Stroll overtakes him, and then Latifi tries to get past again.
Yeah, so I think Stroll was beginning to move right to let the Alpha through.
Latifi, man, what is he just doing? You just hit me, man.
Well, there's not going to be much Canadian cordiality after that particular incident.
So he's let the Aston through, and then as he then goes to retake that, boom. It's a misunderstanding, a very expensive misunderstanding for both teams. What an expensive shunt.
I rather think Lance Stroll was looking in his mirrors, because I just thought I saw his head turn a little bit to the right, but maybe the Williams and the speed the Williams was going, he didn't see him in time.
Fernando's really been hustling. The old Fernando we know so well. He seems really happy out there as the Ferrari. Oh no, in the wall then.
And that is, sadly, the Alpine of Fernando Alonso, who was hustling and he was motoring, and it has come to a sudden end against the wall. Now, did Charles Leclerc cross the line before the red flag? But a moment where we've seen many, many drivers go into the gravel, Martin, but not really hitting it as heavy as Fernando there did there.
Yeah, so he's grabbed a little bit of grass on the way in, gone in too deep on the brakes, had to steer into the slide.
I lost the hydraulics and I could not change gear.
Going round the outside, gets a ripple of applause from the crowd, and now the safety car is out because Sebastian Vettel has stopped by the side of the track. And oh no, not the scooter for Seb again this weekend. It was right behind Alex Albon.
Oh no, he's on the exit of turn 4. That's highly unusual. He's dropped it coming off the curb.
Ricciardo pushes Russell out of the top 10.
Yellow
Someone's
flag.
had a moment.
Carlos
Sainz at Rivazza too.
Oh, he's in the wall.
He's in the wall. And you can see the Ferrari stuck there and has gone quite hard into the wall. That is a red flag. And if the rain is coming, that is bad news for anybody outside of the top 10.
Oh, he's just lost the rear, hasn't he? I mean, he's not done anything massively wrong, but just wasn't necessary when he was in the position he was. He's going to definitely not sleep well tonight.
As Lando Norris has a moment at Aqua Minerale, Verstappen is hoping he can hold on to pole, and that is going to be another red flag. It looks to me like Norris has stopped.
I'm out.
And has gone in a lot harder into the barriers, and that is a red flag, and that is the end of qualifying. It won't resume now, and they know the job's done, and the driver, the reigning champion in the rain here at Imola, knows the job is done.
Got that white line again.
And he did go into
I don't
the
think
barriers.
he's damaged the wing though. I think he probably got away with that, but they're all on that white line again.
He was on the green line.
That secured his third place though. Definitely
one way of doing it.
Out.
It's one way of doing it. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. And already a yellow flag as someone's gone off the track, and I think it's Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo, and there is Zhou Guanyu. Looks like his sprint is over by the end of the first lap.
Oh, it's hard on the wall. You can see the exhaust.
Yeah, that rear wing is very much at an angle that they would not want. Safety car has been brought out, the Aston Martin safety car.
We can see.
Let's have a look on the way into Piratella we go. And there's Zhou Guanyu on the outside, Gasly on the inside. I didn't think this track was narrow, and that rather proved it.
Two came together. I'm not really sure where Zhou thought Gasly could go. Didn't quite leave him enough space. I would say a bit of a racing incident.
Verstappen leads into the first corner ahead of Perez on the inside. Lando Norris gets third place ahead of Charles Leclerc. Bad start from him. Daniel Ricciardo hits Carlos Sainz, and Ferrari is spun round, and Ricciardo manages to keep going, and oh no! Carlos Sainz, for the second race in a row, second Grand Prix in a row, looks like his afternoon has been ended way earlier than he would have wanted.
Sainz going the long way around. Where's Ricciardo going to be able to go?
Yeah, Daniel hit me.
The stewards have noted this, not necessarily investigating, but with Sainz being ahead into the apex.
Yeah, I got pushed into Sainz.
I'm going to say racing incident, Crofty. I don't think there was anything intentional on it. Yes, you could give him a small penalty for it, but it wasn't like he went in completely out of control. They were both racing side by side.
We did say that Tsunoda has the pace to chase down that Aston Martin. Gaps behind them, well, still half. And Charles Leclerc goes into the barrier at the Variante Alta. Now he's kept the car going. He's kept everything running. One Ferrari already out, and another Ferrari potentially out, because I think he's got damage to his front wing.
Any feedback on the car?
He's in.
It's okay.
Copy.
That's an old radio message then, because it's not okay, because he is coming in.
Crofty, look how much he goes to the right-hand side, beaches it on this big sausage curb. Why is he trying to do that? Because he wants to get the DRS down at Ravazza, but you can see the car would not handle it, bounced, couldn't correct it, and then obviously onto the second part. He's very lucky that he managed to get that car out the wall, but he is going to be one unhappy boy when he leaves this track tonight.
Valtteri Bottas has just stopped right there, and they've red flagged the session. And there we can see the resultant damage on the rear wing, so he's actually gone in a little harder than might at first appear.
Anyway, let's have a look here.
He was late, wasn't he? He was late on the brakes there.
I think he got a bit wide on the marbles as well. I think you mentioned before, Jensen, the marbles already built up. You got on the curb. Crowd there, big cheer.
I just want to hear firsthand what your analytic abilities, because I'm learning everything from you. Oh dear. Oh.
Mario. I'll tell you what my analytic abilities are here, Mario. Carlos Sainz was taking way too much speed into that corner, and we've got a red flag. So turn around and have a look at this.
Oh no, poor Carlos.
That's not good, is it?
He's at a...
That's not from lack of trying, however, so...
The problem is he's...
Yeah, sorry guys, I know what happened.
And, you know, obviously these corners are quite quick, so you would probably need a little more space than that if you do run off. But, again, I don't think that's a tremendous amount of damage to the car. You know, it's left front and whatever, so...
Yeah,
if you go off there, you're going to get a bit of the wall.
Esteban Ocon into the wall there at 14. This is the tricky bit, isn't it?
Same as Carlos.
Same as Carlos. And we'll wait for a replay and just see what happened, but that's a big shunt for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult because he lost it really early. If you see when he went left, he was already spinning. Yesterday, interesting enough, I was doing the Pirelli laps, and you could do exactly what he did, but I mean, I'm not qualifying or driving an F1 car at the moment, so it's not too bad.
Carlos Sainz, who is another having a pretty lonely race. Playseat, oh dear! Lando Norris has made contact with the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly. Sebastian Vettel slows down to avoid any further issues. And you know how things can change in a street race. Very, very quickly, we have a virtual safety car.
So Gasly had gone wide through there, then wide again. In fact, he has backed off, hasn't he? And somehow he's not realised that Lando's coming through. And the tyre comes off like a polo mint. Luckily, stays within the confines of the racetrack.
Safety car deployed. They have
to.
Yep.
Malvoice. Yes, mate. Sorry about that. I didn't want to...
Here's Sebastian Vettel. Why did he spin? Well, he was going for the move there on the Haas of Mick Schumacher. Schumacher came back at him down the inside, and that is why Sebastian Vettel spun and Mick Schumacher hitting him.
Which gap was that? I didn't see that. And that's it, I guess.
You can't be mates as Formula One drivers, you just can't.
I mean, that's clearly my corner.
That is Daniel Ricciardo, and he's gone into the Tech Pro barrier. You can see the front wing has A, become dislodged, and B, ended up quite a way from his car.
Is the car okay? I'm okay. Good.
Let's have a little look at how it unfolded. So round to back.
Oh, he picked up a bit of understeer in turn 13.
Oh, he lost the rear front.
And then, yeah, but it put him offline, and then in the change of direction, the rear let go. Look. So yeah,
I'm glad you're okay. We'll fix the car, don't panic. Yeah, understood. Yeah, I'll explain when I get back.
Nasty moment.
Absolutely.
Just letting the car hitting the ground so hard, it basically lifts your wheels off the air, into the air momentarily.
Again, takes the pavement into Portier now. And was that Red Bull sliding sideways?
That was Perez, and Perez has stopped at Portier, and I think Perez has gone into the barriers, and Carlos Sainz on the scene as well has made contact, and that is the end of qualifying. And last year it was Charles Leclerc who hit the barriers and managed to grab pole.
I'm out there, sorry.
This year, it's Sergio Perez who's hit the barriers and Charles Leclerc has grabbed pole. I dare say he would have grabbed pole anyway because, well, in the week that he announced he was becoming a Disney character, he has been light years ahead of the rest in this final part of qualifying. But that is a little bit of wreckage at Portier. Perez disappears through Mirabone, as I say, lost the rear, sliding around that right-hander, and there's Sainz doing exactly the same thing.
So we just saw it, didn't we, in the corner of our eye, the Red Bull at a funny angle as we had the shot cut, and one of those pendulum spins, and wait for it.
There's another one.
Let's have a look at Fernando Alonso's crash as well, but towards the end there, he also put it into the wall.
Yeah, just too hot. He should have chose the escape road that Nico went down on the left-hand side, but...
That is Nicholas Latifi down at the Lowe's hairpin.
Gate on, the car just didn't turn. I just crashed into the hairpin.
And hitting the barriers as well, Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin through Massenet. Oh, that is the Haas of Mick Schumacher at the entrance to the swimming pool chicane. That is a very costly accident, not just for Mick Schumacher in this race, but also for Haas in terms of budgets. Oh, it let go, hit the Armco, spun around a couple of times, and then into the Tech Pro barrier.
And now there's a red flag to repair the barrier, it must be, Crofty.
Yeah, there
Could
is.
be anything else.
Yeah, he'd lost quite a lot of speed by the time he got there, fortunately, but it's just plucked the gearbox off, hasn't it? And the rear suspension there at the back. So the Tech Pro and everything doing its job.
That is Lance Stroll into the barriers, but he's managed to keep the engine running, keep the car running. That's down at turn 7.
Yeah, he just asked too much. Normally they swing to the right and then bring it back to the left to get straight. He wasn't straight when he braked.
And Stroll again, and this will be more than just a yellow flag. That's
a red, isn't it? That's going to be a red flag.
You would think so. With the car limping away, it is a red flag. And it's turn 2, another 90-degree left-hander. I don't think he came into the pit. Now, Sebastian Vettel. Oh dear! I'm about to say, really going for it, but just like his teammate at turn 7, that time at turn 15, it just wouldn't turn for him.
Check the brake pedal, it feels a bit low. Copy, we'll have a look.
Alex Albon has crashed out there.
That is the state of the Williams up against the barriers.
So he's locked the right front, then both fronts, and actually no harm done.
Oh, and that is Sergio Perez, and he's gone into the Tech Pro barrier a little bit harder. What happened to Sergio Perez? It's like we say, it gets tricky. You go onto the intermediate tyres, and the grip that was there now isn't, and that is a fair clonk into the Tech Pro barrier.
Yeah, so he's locked on the way in, and smartly realised you've got to straighten the car up just at the last moment.
Oh, question answered. Is it time for slick tyres or not? And as George Russell, caused a bit of damage. Is it the right time for the slick tyres? Can George Russell compete with that Red Bull, but it just wouldn't turn in him?
Tyres too cold.
No grip and no chance of continuing without brushing the barrier.
He had to tippy-toe through there.
And that's why we've got yellow flags, and it is Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri.
Sorry, I'm out.
Now that's surely going to be a virtual safety car or a safety car. Safety car, and this has absolutely worked in Carlos Sainz's favour, because I think he's coming into the pits. He is coming into the pits. While we see the replay, Tsunoda came into the pits, went straight on as he came out. In a It's lights out and away we go. Sainz gets away well, as does Lando Norris, as does Lewis Hamilton, who's already ahead of Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen into Abbey takes the lead ahead of Carlos Sainz, and at the back that's George Russell out of this race, who's finished in the top 5 in every race this season, but he's out by the time they get to turn 1. Off the track there goes Charles Leclerc, and the red flag has now come out to make racing redundant.
So certainly something in the background went into the gravel upside down.
There's the initial content. That's where the car then is upside down onto the gravel, and then it flips.
Yeah, so whether George got a little tap on his right-hand side, I don't know, but...
Yeah, gets the tap, nothing he can do, sent into the barriers. George Russell getting a little bit out of shape. Was something just fallen off his car, or was it paint from the curbing? I'm not sure, but he stays 5th fastest.
Somebody's gone off somewhere. Yellow flag.
Lewis has crashed. Lewis has gone off. He stopped at turn 7.
Damn, I'm so sorry, guys. So sorry to damage the car.
He's got some front suspension damage as well, as you can see. So it's actually quite a slap sideways, isn't it? So he had to turn into a slide, and he looked as surprised as anybody there.
George Russell going through turn 6. He's a little bit off the pace here, is George Russell, in terms of moving up from that 5th place position that he finds himself in currently, right on the line with his right-hand tyres.
Going in the wall.
Go through turn 9, and that is not 1 but 2 Mercedes cars out of qualifying, and George Russell brings out another red flag as he rear ends into the barriers at turn 10.
Yeah, it's gone on the way into the corner. It didn't feel much, did it, on board, but it's folded the rear wing up.
Okay. Yeah. So red flag, red flag.
Your overall loss is about 28 seconds. That's why it was so critical to get past Norris so he could push in clean air. And who's that gone off?
Leclerc. And look after these tires.
Charles Leclerc is out of the race. And for the 3rd time this season, Charles Leclerc, when leading a race, won't go on to finish it.
It's gone in hard. I'm surprised he wasn't able to reverse out, actually. He's obviously been stuck under the tyres.
Well, it's like you're on ice at this stage. There's no way he's going to stop that.
Are you okay?
I cannot get throttle.
Is it another throttle pedal issue for Charles Leclerc?
Now it's 0%.
Sebastian Vettel's in the barrier. Sebastian Vettel in the barrier at turn 10. That's not normally a place you see cars sliding off, but it's a different sort of day today here in Budapest. Oh, lost the rear ends. Oh, he's gone in backwards.
Horrible angle.
Oh. Sorry. Oh!
We got Fernando Alonso at 340.
Oh, Leclerc's off.
Oh, he is. And into the gravel and brushes the barriers, but doesn't look like he's hit the barriers too hard.
I think he just lost the rear on turn. He had a snap of oversteer, just on the braking turning in. I don't know whether he just touched that left rear on the grass, perhaps, before turning in. But no, it's just the bump. Yeah. Bump caught him out under the braking turning in.
I don't think the car is damaged.
Copy.
Yeah, and behind Fernando Alonso, it's his old teammate Lewis Hamilton. Here comes Hamilton into the Lecombe chicane, and they make contact. Hamilton rises up into the air. He's made contact with Fernando Alonso. George Russell goes through. There's the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll onto the gravel, and that was Alonso and Hamilton getting too close together, tangling, but they both managed to carry on.
It looks to me as if Lewis comes in and pinches him a little bit. Yeah, that's not Fernando's fault.
What an idiot, closing the door from the outside. We had a mega start, but this guy only knows how to drive a Verstappen.
As Ocon loses a place and onto the gravel, the Williams spinning and then tagging the Alfa Romeo. Nicholas Latifi has tagged Valtteri Bottas. And that's Bottas's race done. He's beached that car.
So Latifi gets wide, more than dips the tyres in the gravel, stays on the throttle, and then the merest touch, but around goes the Alfa Romeo.
Magnussen's under pressure there from the Williams of Alex Albon, and going wide. Kevin Magnussen into the gravel and hits the barrier, comes back out onto the track, but manages to keep that Haas going.
Kevin Magnussen, double oversteer in the barriers. Lucky to keep it in a straight line. Hands swapping position on the steering wheel there.
Just having a replay here, Nats, of George Russell making his way through turn 10 into 11, and yeah, locked up, decided not to go in. That's actually hit the barrier there. Square on with the nose, and it looks like he might have got away with that, yeah, because he decided to just go, like I say, absolutely straight on.
Where has Stroll eventually stopped the car? At turn 7. I wonder if he stopped in a place where they can't get to, but I thought he would have went down the escape road.
Looks all right there, and then just gets on the dust and runs out of road, as we expected. But yeah, it was all settled on the way in. Just a bit of understeer mid-corner, and desperate to get on the power to carry that momentum. Got away from him.
Joe Guan Yu, who has stopped on the track. This is at turn 5, but George Russell was trying to get over, was overtaking Valtteri Bottas, and he's lost a place to Bottas, and Latifi has now got a puncture. So he's got a long way to go to get back to the pits to change that tyre. Hit the wall, and Latifi hitting the wall too.
The guy just fully squeezed me into the wall, guys. I don't know what is he doing.
Copy, John, I've seen it.
Safety car.
Safety got the full safety car as well.
This is what happened to Alex Albon. Just
it's one of those horrible, silly shunts. He's gone in, the front won't bite. He's then gone onto the wetter part of the track and had a very pedestrian, just understeers towards the wall. The gap back down to 2.7, showing 3 on the top of the screen.
Oh, and that's Lewis Hamilton going straight on. Hamilton, frustrated behind Carlos Sainz, has gone straight on and has hit the barrier down at turn 7. Norris and Verstappen coming to the scene of the accident. Hamilton rejoins the track, Norris goes through, Hamilton rejoins the race ahead of Max Verstappen. Over the bumps. Just couldn't turn, well, committed, didn't he, to the corner, and couldn't go down the escape road. And that's the issue for Yuki Tsunoda. He's gone into the barriers at turn 10.
Switch off, engine off.
That could well be a full safety car. They've got to fix the barrier there.
He's gone in at about 80 miles an hour, Yuki Tsunoda. Safety car, full safety car, has been deployed.
So lots to look forward to. This is very late on. This is just coming in now. Mick Schumacher in his Haas and off.
Just had a huge aquaplaning. Well.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Is a Ferrari off, and it is Carlos Sainz into the barrier and out of the race. And a safety car before the end of lap 1. And we've just seen a replay of what happened to Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, I crashed.
Verstappen's ahead of Carlos Sainz, and then there's a lock-up from behind George Russell. Lewis Hamilton goes around the outside, and Sainz is spun round and is tagged, and he's gone from pole to last in the space of 1 corner. As he then goes in the corner, Sainz came across George Russell. Who was at fault there?
Well, George trying to claim the apex, but he was all locked up. George Russell hadn't got full control of his car.
Come on, what happened there? Good puncture, I think, pass from Mercedes.
And Schumacher says, thank you very much, I'll take 12th place. And Ocon might be compromised now as Fernando Alonso goes off the track. That's a high-speed crash, and he's made contact with Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. That is a big moment down the back straight, and we've got another safety car coming here at Austin.
And the way that looks to me, that's probably got suspension damage there as well, I would say, on Fernando Alonso's car, because the way the front just locked up.
Let's have a look and see what happened here. He did get very airborne. He goes to the left, and Lance Stroll moves to the left, Martin, to try and block Fernando Alonso, to try and stop the pass. That's when the contact is made.
Fernando will say there was a little jink to the left, just as he was making the move. Yeah.
I crashed. Okay, Lance, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Next year.
Big
So,
crash.
big crash. Oh.
Is that Leclerc?
That's
a heavy one.
Carlos?
I think it's Leclerc with the red helmet, isn't it? Yeah, it's Leclerc. Here we are on board, arriving at 8, and he's just dropped it on the entry, hasn't he? And you can just see when it goes round the weight of these cars now, there's absolutely no way.
So he can get the inside line and push his way past, and he's diving down the inside, and they are going to touch, and Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri rides over the front wheel of Daniel Ricciardo's McLaren and out onto the turf almost, losing bits of his car. Daniel Ricciardo for causing the collision that took out Yuki Tsunoda. 10-second penalty for him.
But that is it for Yuki Tsunoda. Is that our first retirement of the Mexico City Grand Prix, Crofty?
It is, Ted. Team Radio.
This is doing. And they could take the speed through the first few corners.
Daniel Ricciardo makes contact there with Kevin Magnussen, and there's a second contact, and they're both out of the race. Ricciardo was looking for a move down the inside, one initial contact and then a second, and that's a safety car on the opening lap here in Interlagos. The Haas and the McLaren out of the race.
We're going to see it from Ricciardo's point of view. Yeah, so that's 100% Daniel's fault, unfortunately, and then didn't recognise that the Haas was freewheeling backwards.
Perez is looking to try and go down the inside of his teammate. Verstappen goes around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Has Verstappen got ahead by the time they get to the next corner? They touch. The Mercedes of Hamilton and the Red Bull of Verstappen make contact here at Interlagos. Verstappen's got big damage to his wing, and has Lewis Hamilton got a puncture?
Hamilton's moving all over the place, wasn't he? Really struggling to keep the car straight.
And round the outside goes Charles Leclerc, and there's contact too with Lando Norris, and Charles Leclerc is off and into the barriers, and after one safety car we could well get another. A 5-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for causing a collision. That's the incident that saw Charles Leclerc disappear off into the barriers. He must have hit it the right way, because so often we see a bit of damage from the wrong angle. We've had a tangle. Mick Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi have had just a little tangle. 5-second time penalty for Mick Schumacher for causing a collision.